All right, all right. Oh, look, people are coming in already. Hey, I got messages about it today. Coming into it, people were expecting for it and looking forward to it. We're doing something right, and we're gaining more subscribers every day, it feels like, and watch hours on. So thank you all. That's the idea.
Okay, before we even start,
What? Coming right in.
Yeah, I'm dealing with tornado warnings and shit all day here.
Oh shit!
But if you're familiar with the South at all, you will understand that southern weather could be sunny 1 minute and then next minute you're in the middle of a tornado.
Right. If you don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes. Is that kind of deal?
Yeah, and I wanted to stall before our special guest to get here. So.
Oh well, it looks like he has arrived. So let me manage space and invite to speak. We do have our special guest now. He came right on time. Look at that. All right, I got the chat up over here. Yeah, I think
is he ready to roll?
Well, you had the space muted, so I think that just mutes everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I think we just have to mute people individually if they get too loud within it. I think I'm talking. I'm like, I don't think anybody can hear me. I invited him to so whenever he's ready, he can pop in.
Okay, I'll start with my rant is then.
Yeah, right.
Since it goes right with what we're going to talk about. My fear has definitely happened.
Yes,
we have gone from I think the last 6 of ratings for AEW have gone up, and I was worried about that because now Tony's going to think that everything he's doing is really good. However, I think this week's ratings at 663, I think they were right, Jake.
Yeah, they were, and it's kind of it's funny they've gone up pretty much from 563 to 663. I got the numbers in front of me.
Yeah, my worry, or not worry anymore, but I think people tuned in this week from the curiosity of last week.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking that this rise, if you want to call it a rise, is maybe ceased, but we'll see.
The morbid curiosity, yeah, no, I fully hear you. I mean, because it's gone up. It's not much. It's like a 6% increase, a 5% increase. Awful. Are you there, buddy?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, we can. Good to hear from you, my friend.
What's going on, fellas? Yeah, no problem. George. Thanks, man. Yeah, George, I agree with you 100%, man. I think it was the morbid curiosity. The ratings are steadily rising, and I'm going to be the first one to say it here. The shows have actually improved from week to week. Very, very little, still production problems, still the whole, botching in the rings and the gaffes and all that. But as far as interest level is concerned, I'm a little bit more interested in what I was previously, which is from 0 to 1.
Yeah, there's a little bit more. I mean, they got me with the MJF
Hurt
Syndicate thing.
Hurt Syndicate, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good segment. And I like the fact, but see, here's the thing. I don't like the fact that there's like dissension between MVP and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I would love to have seen them all become like one united front, and they somehow like by hook or by crook screw MJF over one way or the other, just to show that they're the top dogs in the company. And he actually, does like a little bit of a babyface turn. But we'll see. Let's see if Tony's writing will get us there.
I feel
like that's possible.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, I would love to think that it's a possibility, but it's just I feel like they might have an end game in mind, but it's like, how do we get there?
Right.
Otherwise, you get more of the Death Riders.
Are they
going to switch? They have an end game plan, but they clearly don't.
I'm wondering if they actually get rid of the belt off Moxley and put it on Swerve again.
What is it? A Dynasty? Was that a week from today?
Next week.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's in Philly, so I'm expecting Swerve to win.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what he's got to do with Philly other than the fact that he's black and, there'll be black people there, I guess. But other than that, like, I see no reason why Swerve should win the championship. For the round, remember, this is the lowest rated champion right now versus the previous owner of the lowest rated champion in Swerve Strickland. So it's just like, how are you going to win on this one? You might want to get somebody brand new.
Yeah, 2 of shit is still shit.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the only viable champion they've had in the last, 2, maybe 3 years was Samoa Joe. Like, that's who should just go in and just murder the Death Riders over, knock them all out, and just be like, no, this is mine now. Come take it. At least
he would make
it believable.
He would make it more believable than what Adam Copeland CPA is doing. So
rated CPA.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They got Joe sitting in the OG. Where is he? The OGF section or whatever call themselves.
They're calling them
The Ops, which is a great name, by the way. I like it.
It is.
I can't think of it.
And it would work well. I mean, and the idea of him and Hook together does make sense and would be fun. And him being like the, master and student situation would work. But
we don't want to see Joe in that situation, right?
Exactly.
We want to. You'd rather see him chasing a belt than chasing some skirt under the bleachers with Hook.
Especially with what's going on, where they're trying to take over the company and destroy it. They're holding the belt hostage. Shouldn't that bother Joe? Shouldn't?
Yeah. What is the end game for Moxley? What is his whole routine with holding the belt under hostage?
The only makes sense, and it doesn't make sense, but it's like Dave says, it makes booking sense, but it doesn't. Is Darby Allin? Is because Moxley he finagled the title shot from Danielson or from Darby with Danielson at the show that Danielson couldn't wrestle at, that he wrestled at.
Right.
Tony's writing. But so if you start it from there, and then your end game is that Darby takes the belt off of Moxley, cool. But you let him go hike Everest. Clearly he doesn't. I don't know. See, that's the only end game I can see, and it literally gives me a pain behind my eye.
Right.
But if maybe you're assuming Darby lives. I'm not joking.
Yeah, that is so true, George.
I'm not joking.
I mean, I said it's clearly he doesn't care. So, I mean, I'm not assuming. I'm with you. I am assuming the best. I try to be an optimist where I can. I'm hoping.
I'd like to see him do it. That would be awesome. Whatever you do not put the AEW flag up there. Just do it for your own sake, man. Just do it for you. Nobody else in AEW helped you get up that mountain.
Well, I mean, Tony probably funded it, so
okay, true. You're right.
He's doing it for that part. I would think that's you got to pay the piper some. It's like we're sponsored by.
If he doesn't make it all the way up there, do you leave his carcass up there? Would he ask for his carcass to be left up there? They're not rescuing him.
There's carcasses all over.
And still, I said it before. I said it on PWT once, but I still view it as it's that episode of The Simpsons where Homer climbs the mountain, but at night the Sherpas are climbing up with Darby sleeping on the he can't do it. He's not big enough. He doesn't have the. You need body mass to have internal heat, so you could climb the. Oh God. Literally getting hit by a bus might have saved his life. If he dies on Everest, getting hit by a bus in New York last year saved his life. He'll be the only person to have that, which, I mean, that would work on his tombstone. I mean, makes sense. If anybody, his obituary.
Did either of you guys watch Collision at all?
I mean, I've seen things on Twitter, but I don't
do what I do.
Enough to watch. You're right.
Right.
Well, the thing is, usually somebody will usually put funnier music behind it, or you get to laugh because you see the caption and you're like, okay, this will be fun.
That sounds familiar.
Listening. His ballet tweet made me pop this morning. That's good.
Shout out neckbeards.
Yeah, always.
I was looking at about the most intriguing thing that I saw on Collision was the face-off between Athena and Mercedes Mone. Now, Athena, even walking down the aisle, had the boo-boo job face. And I wonder if they're going to relieve her of that ROH championship because she didn't look too confident coming out there. And in fact, there was actually no reaction with her coming out there. It was like it was just like, hey, there's the pop. And it was just like, oh, it's Athena. You know what I mean? We have somebody we haven't seen on television for several months.
Yeah, funny, if you're not a Spark fan, you don't know she exists.
It's funny you bring that up, Awful, because we talked about that exactly on last week's Sunday Night Spaces. I got to make the thumbnail of her and Athena because George brought it up, is that he thinks that's where it's leading, is for Athena versus Mercedes at All in Texas, and we all know where that's going. You'd love to think that maybe Mercedes could figure it out and be happy with the money she's making and put Athena over in her hometown and her home state and try to make somebody, but we know it'll just be at that time. Should she already have 5 belts? Because at that time, will she have already taken somebody else's? So that'll be the 6th one or 5. That's really the only question. That's the over-under.
July will come quick, so I mean they can kind of hold off on that match. But here's the thing that I've always noticed about Tony Khan is that he hits first, and then they do promos later. Athena and Mercedes should have never touched when they came out, and the first thing they do was jaw jack for about 4 seconds, and then I think Athena clocks her with a roundhouse right or whatever. But it's just like now next week on Collision or Dynamite or wherever, now they're going to talk to each other. What sense does this make? The woman hit her move on Mercedes Mone's opponent. after Mercedes Mone was just like, this chick that I just wrestled is better than Billy Starks, and that was the impetus for this girl to help Sasha Banks. I hate calling her Mercedes.
I'm
That's
with
a, yeah. That's the impetus for her helping Sasha Banks up to her feet and getting nailed with Athena's finisher. Give me a break. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was only intriguing all the way up to the point that Athena touched Mercedes Mone.
Tony books backwards.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Always.
It doesn't surprise me that he would be like, shoot first, ask questions later. That seems
Yeah.
to be, with his attitude and his always go, go, go. And no, especially when you're that confident in yourself for no reason other than you've been told you're the best your entire life. You've been told that you've never been told no. So sure, why not? Shoot.
Tony Khan wants to stick his tongue down your throat the first date, and then try to get a feel on you. And then next week, when he calls you up, he's just like, "Hey, how was your weekend?"
Kiss on the cheek.
Seriously.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's your favorite color afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Will you respect me in the morning?
Oh my God, no, dead on though. That was
Hey, awful. Here was my prediction on Mercedes. She's gonna run through this, and eventually she'll get the belts. Eventually, she's gonna realize that she doesn't have the main championship, which Tony Storm does.
Right.
So all this is gonna happen all over again with the championship, what Tony has. I think.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's a wonderful conclusion, but will it make money? Will it draw in people?
No.
We can fantasy book and talk about like how this match is going to be great and all this, but will it bring in 700,000 people a week, 800,000 people a week? Will those numbers grow? We've seen small, steady growth, just like you said, Jake. Like, what did you say? 6-7% growth over the last week to week. Okay, big deal. Meanwhile, I think NXT scratched 800 like 3 times this year. Or 800,000, excuse me.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, goddamn Dynamite doesn't really do too much. Now, great, their storylines, I guess, are starting to become, that's what I wanted to say. Their stories are starting to become episodic. So that's where people, and of course, like what George said, the curious factor. Are they going to have Jon Moxley drop on a cinder block this week? That kind of morbid curiosity. But as far as like sticking around for 2 hours, that show, hell to the fuck no.
No. And I mean, even with the spike, when they tried to put it on in that spot where it was like in between the college basketball games, because that's what I want to watch in between March Madness games, is someone getting stabbed in the spine.
Remember they tried this a couple years ago. Remember they had the Young Bucks and like Kenny Omega had like a basketball themed match where they used the basketball as a weapon. Yeah. And so that didn't work. And to be honest, guys, I wouldn't know because I'm like, obviously nobody knows. I'm not a goddamn professional. I've never written wrestling. But how would you? Right? How would you book a show right after a March Madness? Let's get real. Like, that's tough to do. I don't expect Tony to do it. So it's like, when you see the 700,000 people dropping off within a half hour of the show, it's real tough to overcome that kind of cliff.
At least they got smart and moved the Saturday collision to a Thursday before WrestleMania.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. They tried to put it over for whatever reasons they want to, but at least
that's smart.
Yeah,
that's a smart move. I'll make fun of it, but it's still a smart move.
Yeah. I feel like somebody who was even at WBD, or at least somebody in Tony Zero was like, "Hey, we got to do this one live." But it'll be exciting.
Right.
We'll put it over that we're doing it live, and it's the one that the spring breakthrough or whatever. But nobody cares.
Which I find something amazing is AEW has managed to ruin the whole concept of an overrun.
Oh God, yeah.
It's amazing. I've never seen it before.
You put on a trashy main event. This is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And these main eventers, these guys who are veterans, they're very smart. They're like, put me on first or put me on the 9 o'clock hour. Do not put me on at 9:45. Okay. Because they know that's where the least amount of people are watching.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
And because they know no one can keep the audience, can't. And I feel like the idea with in between the March Madness games is people were going to look at the picture and see, Edge and Dean Ambrose. But I mean, does anybody? Clearly, Ambrose is the third of the Shield members, and Edge's comeback was peaked with the comeback. I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, you're not. He had that moment in the Rumble. It was awesome. It'll give you goosebumps and jerk a tear. But what else was he gonna do after that?
You see what he's doing right now, Jake.
Yeah.
The man suplexed Moxley on a British toothbrush, and the very next week he's having little snippy arguments with FTR in like the hallway of some arena. It makes no sense.
No, And then what was he doing before? Oh, right. Jumping off of a cage and breaking his tibia and fibula.
Exactly.
I have a
So-
question.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, whoever. Go ahead.
First of all, awful. Nice to finally meet you. Anthony J here.
Oh, thanks, man.
Nice.
Pleasure to
What's
meet
up,
you.
Anthony?
So, how are we supposed to book an Edge and Christian team over there when you can't even use the name Edge? Cope and Cage? Yeah, maybe, but let's face it. We see them together. You're going to start chanting Edge and Christian, Edge and Christian. I don't know how you book that.
You can book it. It's going to take about 6 months for it to be done correctly and for it to be fully realized, and so that every little bow is tied to each, particular week. But Tony's motto is to rush things, and I think he's going to. Yeah, I think that he's going to have Cope and Christian face FTR. Is that the feeling you guys are getting at all?
Yeah.
Now that
We're
you said
all
it,
in.
100%. I didn't
Yeah.
think of it before, but yeah, that would make the most sense. Do they have a Canada tour or like a show in Toronto or anything coming up? Because if they do, we can kind of figure out that it's going to lead up into that, I would think.
Not in
But
the
do they?
near future.
That's the thing, Jake, George. Do they? Does Edge and Christian draw in Toronto or Quebec or
Oh, it's not
that
about
beers
the
with no-
draw. It's that Tony can give them a moment for them. Like, because
Dude, that's
raw.
Yeah,
we're 6
yeah.
years into this thing. Tony's got to stop with that philosophy. He's got to make a buck or two.
Well,
He's got to
here
make a buck or two.
friends. He's not here to make money. That's why Punk had to leave.
I mean, a retirement angle could probably work. He seems to be able to write those really well, but a retirement
That's
stuff
because they write
isn't really that
themselves.
difficult.
You know the ending of the story.
Right.
Yeah, one
Exactly.
for one.
That's the only reason he can do it.
Exactly.
True though. I mean, you've got a point. But I
noticed that Edge was all of a sudden, or Cope, sorry, was
No, we
coming
can call him
online
Edge.
and
We can call him Edge here.
telling people that he has no creative control over the finishes, and that's become a big talking point now.
Yeah,
Everyone's
just because it's not
speculating who has
written in his
creative control on
contract
that.
doesn't mean that he can't tell Tony what he wants to do. Like, he's literally playing that as like, oh, hey, it's not in my contract. I don't have the creative. Bullshit. Who has he put over since he joined the company?
Right.
Tony's
You
got
notice
his
that
action figures.
Whoa.
Sorry about that. I
Great
said
question.
Tony's got his live action figures talking to him, and he listens to them. And the more rare ones, like your Edge, like your Daniel Bryan, he's going to listen to them over his bargain basement ones that he just got off Ring of Honor TV.
Question for you guys:
Sure.
Did you see that? Did you see that news where it's like he wanted to put over Finn Balor at 39, and I'm like, it's 2 years later. What does this have to do with anything now?
Because he went on that grand tour last week. See, here's the thing. I love it when people go like, the IWC doesn't matter. Nobody listens to the IWC. The IWC, nobody pays attention. And to a degree, they're correct. But here's the thing. The wrestlers pay attention to the IWC. And when the groundswell gets loud enough, they actually hear what's going on. So that's why Edge went on that 1 week tour of like, I'll put over anybody. I'll put over anybody.
I put over people. I put over people. Austin Theory like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah,
Come on.
I put over Roman Reigns. Like, who cares? You haven't put over anybody in AEW. And the problem is like, just like Mercedes Mone, Edge is facing the same sort of problem. They think that just being in the same ring as these people is giving them the rub. And I'm talking about these newcomers or people who are veterans from Japan that come and face Sasha or Cope. The bottom line is like, it's not just about the rub. These people have to get over on you, and then from there, you have got to create some sort of creative storyline where you get your win back, you turn heel, you become more of a babyface. Something's got to give. These one match and then we're through with you type of deals is not going to work in the grand scheme of AEW.
What's the payoff? What is
the payoff?
It's the mutual respect
era. Like that,
right?
They got over because Action Andretti. He was going to be the next big star because he beat Jericho once.
Yeah, Action Andretti, Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia. You can go on and on. Where the hell is Wardlow? And every time they pop out Powerhouse Hobbs he gets no pop because what's he involved in now? Hologram, Harley Graham, or some like it's like come on now. He tries to find them something to do so that they're still on TV. And the problem is with these nubiles, these young wrestlers, is like they think that's all they've got to be is on TV. Wrong, pal. You got to create something. You got to make some moment happen. Yeah.
I literally feel like they took Harley and she was kind of getting over, and he wanted to leech off that and put that onto the hologram. Yes. So it's just like, here, go over here and put on the lucha mask. He's like, wait, what?
It's the idea like Jericho of like, hey, what can I attach to? Like, what's hot? Let me peel the heat off of that. The one character we know Tony has created is Hologram, and so he's like, hey, I've got it. Let's try to latch on, and then puts it on Collision where no one will see it or care.
In the shittiest sock mask of all time, like that thing. I don't know how that thing even sells over 10 fucking parcels. That thing looks ridiculous.
Like a crash test dummy mask. Like,
Yeah,
just painted differently with the mask. Yep. Yeah, it's so
safety green.
Yes. It looks like a ski mask.
It looks like the mask in the movie cast.
Right.
It's so bad. It's
and
they're $60 now. He raised the price on them too.
Oh my god.
Where Tony and Vince McMahon are alike is where if a talent gets over on their own, you pay for it. I've noticed that.
It's the Zack Ryder situation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I didn't write this. I didn't do this, so you can't get over here. And then it's very similar in the sense where Vince McMahon couldn't book small guys and Tony Khan can't book big guys. They're more similar than people think. Than people used to. I think more people have figured it out now because
Brody King is getting over incidentally.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Getting over in spite of his booking.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. I thought Malachi Black was holding those guys back.
Yeah, I feel bad for Brody King having to do these terrible jobs to people, like Okada.
But he's looking good doing them.
He does.
I will say that. Yep. And many people may not know it, but I've always had I've always looked towards Adam Page. Like that motherfucker, for whatever it's worth, he does try hard. Some of the material he's been given sucks dick. Yeah, a lot of it, especially that fucking EV with the steel horns. Like I still can't get over it. But
that and the butterfly pants, those two.
The butterfly pants.
Like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Go out on television.
But as far as he's trying hard. Same thing with Brody King. There are a few people in AEW who are trying hard, despite what Tony's writing.
That if they would just get some coaching. Now I know Paige just said he's got to listen to veterans. Because maybe that's where, when you're around, like it's like when you're in high school and you hang out with the bad friends, you kind of became more of an asshole. If you could just get him out of there and to the PC with good coaching who wants to see him do better, you're absolutely right. He could probably actually be a star, but unfortunately, it's where we are.
Yeah. I fucked up.
Go ahead.
I thought Jeff Jarrett would be the head booker by now, but that prediction is looking terrible right now. It looks like Tony is going to have a kung fu grip on that book for at least another year.
Oh, well, if nothing else, this month has proven that because, as we said, it's like an 8%. I think it's like 9% at its best for an increase. But he will ride that 9% for the rest of the year. Like, no, when I got more in the week, it was better.
Yep.
Right?
That's all it takes.
I'm writing all this.
That's all it takes. That's what scared me at front.
You did. No, that was
because I'm like,
that was in one of our first episodes or space. Like I remember that clearly when you said that, and I was like, oh god, like he was one of the things. Like,
what'd you say, George?
You're right, but you will be.
The first spaces, I think I said the ratings went up like 2,000. I'm like, oh, this is a disturbing trend. They're starting to go up.
It went up like
4 weeks in a row, and I'm like, oh shit.
They kept going up even in spite of what was happening. And
right.
Tony was doing the things in the press scrums and the media calls where he's like, hey, this is me. I'm the one writing this. This is all me. And that's not a good.
We're in the weeds.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he needs more weed.
I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be impressed with anything Tony Khan does or anything Dynamite or Collision does until I see a large increase. I'm not talking about from 666,000 people to 900,000 people. No, but by going by this clip, by going by the trends that you guys got that these guys have now, we're looking at 800,000 by the end of September. So that is where I'm looking at. If they don't have 800,000 people by September, this whole thing is a bust. We could talk about like their growth spurts and they're falling off of cliffs all the way up until their contract is canceled. And that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, you'll see this week because this week is the go home show for the pay-per-view, and Tony's go home shows are terrible.
They're
historically
pay-per-view.
Yes, historically
they are. Well, and
so you'll be able to tell with the ratings this week coming up if the curiosity factor is gone or people are sticking with it.
And I think it's less about the ratings. Well, yeah, the thing is, it's less about the ratings initially. Like, if the shows were just progressively actually getting fully better, like there are moments where they have had good things, but then there's the terrible stuff with Mercedes and Athena. Like, because if you go back, if you want to, because obviously they want to talk about WCW and WWF back in the day with the Monday Night Wars. Like, if you go back and watch some of that stuff, like WWE guys will talk about how they knew they were going to beat Nitro eventually because they were doing better shows. The crowds were getting hotter. There was a buzz about it, and then eventually the ratings kicked in.
Right.
They still haven't done that first part for me. Like it's not
right because
a small buzz, but
because from Val Venus, from Val Venus to X-Pac to Stone Cold to The Rock, they all believed in what you just said. They all believed that. They were like, we know we're making better television. We know it. You asked that of John Moxley. You asked that of Swerve Strickland. You asked that of Mercedes. I guarantee you they couldn't look you straight in the eye and tell you that. You know, we believe that we're going to go and make it to the next level.
Oh no, I think Swerve believes it.
Yeah, Swerve might.
I don't think Swerve believes it. I believe he knows exactly how to play this game of ultra shill for the company.
Because it's been laid out in front of them. They've seen how other people do. Because you know there's only a few people that have been in Tony's ear the entire time. There's certain people that have their moments of glory and then they fuck it up and go away. But Swerve sees what's worked and he knows that's why he's made his moves. Plus, he's got his own writer who's right there with Tony in the war room, I guess we'll call it, even though they don't do production meetings.
Who's his writer?
Will Washington, his cousin.
Oh, that's right. Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't say he was a good writer. I didn't say it was a good situation.
Now, as you can see, never once did I big up Swerve Strickland because he's not in anything decent. And now I know why. Because Will Washington, a super fan, let's be honest, folks, a super fan, no different than me, you, or George.
Yep.
Got the opportunity to write. No one's jealous of him, but if you're going to be in that opportunity, dude, you got to be up day and night. This is not a 1 day a week type thing. You should be blowing hard as far as the blunts and like coming up with some like real creative shit for Swerve Strickland. It should not be this simple and basic. So we're just going to play with golden scissors the whole time, or now we're just going to play with John Moxley, where he's going to go over on you possibly the Saturday or Sunday, whatever the fuck it is, and it's just like yeah, and then now what happens to Swerve Strickland? Do you have something written from him for Swerve Strickland after this loss or after this win? That's the bottom line.
Yeah, finishing up your last point on the last thing you guys talked about real quick, I would bet you that if you ask Mercedes or ask Moxley what's on the show, they couldn't even tell you besides their segments.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
No idea.
That can't be good.
No, I mean, you can see that in the matches where they'll have like back-to-back matches that have either the exact same finish, very similar spot, or have the same flow or the same comeback moment or whatever, because nobody's talking to each other.
Right. The agents don't get together. There are no production meetings, and as we heard, just like you said, what Tony Khan said, I believe it was in the conference call. Hey, man, I'm writing this stuff myself. I'm saying no more. I'm not taking any more of this fucking bullshit. You know.
Yeah. That's still my favorite thing he ever did, because he said that, made those looks with the eyes, and literally from that day on, he has only taken this fucking bullshit. Either that one or the Friday Night War. The Friday Night War. Those are my two favorite Tony Scrum moments.
Yeah. I like how people are a little upset with him because he's not going to allow Sting to go into the, possibly induct Lex Luger. Smart move, Tony. One of very few that you've done. Smart move. Stick it to whoever you got to stick it to. It's your goddamn business.
Do you think he should?
No, he should not.
I understand the crowd. I don't see where it's gonna help or hurt. You know what I mean? Like it's tired. He's not
I'll tell you, I'll give you the answer, George. If Tony Khan is a man of his word, remember, I didn't say if Tony Khan is a man of his word, and he said, I'm not taking this fucking bullshit anymore. I'm not going to allow these things to happen where Billy Gunn gets on there and gets shitted on. I'm not going to allow these things to happen. The forbidden door is closed from that point on. I would respect Tony Khan more if WrestleMania weekend came and went and Sting was not involved. That's just me. Because why would you, George, allow Sting? Will it increase your revenue? Will it increase your visibility? Will they ask you to reference All Elite Wrestling? Will they ask you to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't get any of those concessions, I'm not doing it.
I hear you.
I'm going
to lose anything though.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you are. I don't think they should.
Yeah,
because I think DDP is just as good.
He's better than Sting as far as an inductee. Yeah.
I know
there's an easier way
to have Sting, but
there's an easier way for him to do it than just saying no and getting the backlash. I would make a demand of something that WWE's not going to do and say, oh, well, they didn't do it.
They probably did that. We probably won't hear about it for another. Probably won't hear about it for another 6 weeks or 7 weeks, but I'm sure something like that happened.
It would make sense.
Yeah, I'd rather see DDP induct them anyway. I watched that interview he did with Bischoff, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed them two guys together. So
Yeah. And I feel like DDP is more involved with Lex now. Like, it's important to Lex to have Sting do it in the sense of, like, Sting brought him in and they were partners and like his career. But, you know, DDP is going to help him learn how to walk again. So I feel like DDP wins. There's a little difference in that to me.
And a lot of people were upset because Sting is, everybody's just like, well, Lex Luger talked to Sting's wife about, you know, his affairs. My point is like Lex helped Sting walk away from some marriages. So there it is. It's all equal, you know. DDP helped Lex Luger walk. Lex Luger helped Sting walk away.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I could see both sides of it. Here's the thing: if it was going to negatively impact AEW, I would definitely be more. But there's nothing that's going to. They're negatively impacting themselves, you know.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that might like because of how there is so much support for Lex, especially with seeing him walk against stuff, that it might build some goodwill for Tony. But I don't even think that matters. He clearly burns through that, like people in California burn through weed. So I mean, just it is what it is.
So yeah, what do you guys? I have a question for both of you.
Yes.
What do you guys think of this Wrestlemania build? Since we're all supposed drones, whatever the fuck that is.
That's funny. We talked about it in one of we did 2 episodes this weekend, and one of them we talked about how really what it is to me, it's clearly top heavy. I feel like that's why the complaints were because at the top, the main events. I mean, you've got with Cody and Cena, the Punk, Rollins, and Roman, and with Heyman, you've got Jay and Gunther, and even the women's, like the title matches are all set, so it's very top heavy. The rest of it, what the hell's going on? I feel like the fix for this, and it's gonna be weird to say it, but the fix for what the problems is the Andre the Giant Battle Royal being at Mania again. Even if you do it as like they're trying to get people to be on Mania, like in some of those where they're pigeonholing, where it's probably going to be, like a triple threat for the US title and like a 6-way for the Intercontinental title.
Right.
They're putting too many people in those matches because they don't have somewhere else to put them. There's a big roster. Everybody deserves to be on Mania, but not everybody can. This is the one show where I feel like they're being like Tony Khan, where they're like, everybody gets on the pay-per-view. I don't care.
My problem was the timing of this European tour. I don't think they're building it. I don't like the European tour being billed previous to WrestleMania. I think they're taking away from, like Jake said, they're top heavy and they're not concentrating on the bottom because they're giving the European people the top people, which they should.
Right. That's
why they always did it after Mania.
Yeah,
so that was my take on it.
And what I'm very curious to see is what they do next year, because WrestleMania is still going to be in the same time frame because they moved it to later in April because when they were competing with the Final Four and some other things, like it was opening weekend for baseball, they kind of wanted the weekend to themselves since they do 17 events in the city. So it'll be interesting next year if they do a European tour leading up to Mania or if they wait and do it afterwards.
Especially what do you think awful about the WrestleMania build since you've asked us?
Ooh, whelmed.
I like that.
It's not that good. But see, I'm an old man, so I've lived through a lot of these not great build WrestleManias, and then I've also, hey, congratulations. Hopefully I'll even get to 50 at some point.
That's how I feel. I'm in my 40s. I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I've seen these kind of builds come and go. I mean, my goodness, 11, WrestleMania 11. I mean, goddamn,
I always think of
9.
WrestleMania 20, or not WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 2000, where the only singles match was the Cat versus Terry.
Right. Even the main event was a 4-way. Like, come on, like, So, like, as far as like the main events. Gunther versus Jey Uso, man. I'm rocking with my co-host Marv on this one. Like, this is a match that should not have been. I understand it. I get it, guys. I get it. He makes money. He's a merch killer. If that's the case, what would be more interesting than that? I'd rather see Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes. Okay? Because now we've got somebody who's a cartoonish kind of character. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Right.
In both Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. In Gunther, you get none of that, and the contrast between Gunther's wrestling style and Jay's wrestling style is just absolutely bonkers. We've seen it 3 times before. They just don't gel together. How is this going to be the main event? on a fucking
No, no,
WrestleMania. It's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's going to
I
lead
fucked up.
off one
Right,
of the two
right.
nights. I think it's going to lead off the
Right.
first night because then you have the fans at full energy to do the entrance. Because
Yeah.
the entrance is a big part of it. I'll tell you that.
Big part's the only part.
It's not the only part. I mean, the match. Okay, I get you. I mean, it's most of the
Sorry,
part.
he's not
I'll
that
say
good.
he's. I don't know. You see, I was at the Max Out of the Year when they had Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy come out together and introduce them as the Usos, and I was so hyped up and jacked by that. Like I am much more on the Yeet train than I expected to be as a 42-year-old. But here we are, because it's fun. The thing that I noticed, not only was it some merchandise sold, like when I walked in the entrance and got to my seat, every kid, not even kid, I would say like every teenage, like from 17 down, had at least some sort of J merch, and most of the kids that were 10 and under had the shirt, the glass hat, like a sign. So
this is the Jey Uso is the new age warrior, ultimate warrior, where it's just like he's so like back in the day. Yeah, it's like, when I was younger, I didn't really care for the Ultimate, but I didn't hate the Ultimate Warrior. Whereas I noticed like people who were older than me hated the fucking Ultimate Warrior, and now I'm at the point where it's just like I can understand the Jey Uso hate. He is not for guys like us. Plain and basic. We shouldn't even be wasting our efforts being angry with this guy. Man's trying to make
That's where I
a living.
I don't see so much the hate being. I can see why people don't like him.
Yeah.
The downright hatred for the guy, because one of the reasons I like him is when you see interviews with him, like he's one of those guys like you would like to go have a beer with him. You know what I mean? Like he's the guy. He's got that appeal.
And then he'll mumble through the entire conversation. Because he seems like he's very introverted, and that kind of stuff is coming through on television. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I remember he was like doing some sort of promo, and I was just like, is this guy like truly nervous to be out there, or is he like playing the role? And it reminded me of like, don't get offended with me, people, but like he kind of reminded me of like some shut-in autistic kid like who had just seen the outside in like 2 years, and it's just like I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So
yeah. Hey, if they didn't get offended, you comparing him to Warrior. I feel like we're okay.
Yeah.
Not so much Warrior when he was making his entrances, but we all know what that
right.
No,
right.
I thought the same thing about it with Warrior, where the entrance is big. He's got the shine, like the bright colors. Like clearly, it's more for a youthful generation, and there aren't the best in the ring, but you can. So I mean, I get it. I feel like. I also feel like it'll lead off one of the two nights. They'll have that big moment. They'll have like Yeetamania, but then they'll go through the rest of the show, and if it is a bad match, it'll kind of get shuffled under the rug with it. It won't be as people won't remember because there's going to be so much on both cards.
Yeah.
Awful. What'd you think about Charlotte Flair stepping all over Tiffany there, making Tiffany look bad?
Again, it's one of those things where the veteran knows exactly what they're doing.
Yes.
And it's so passive aggressive how they do it. Like it's amazing how anybody who's going into the wrestling business isn't hip to this type of stuff, because it's the same thing as real life. And I felt bad for Tiffany, but I mean, Charlotte's going to do as Charlotte's going to do. I don't see Charlotte. Yeah, I don't see Charlotte as anything special to me. Like, again, we're old guys. We've seen a lot of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Charlotte doesn't really like pop out to me. She's tall, and I guarantee you within the next 2 years, we're going to see somebody come out of NXT doing twice as good as her. And just because, easily. And it's just like, okay, that's what I'm waiting for. Like, Charlotte can do a moonsault. Yay. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's just like, okay, let me ask you, gentlemen, what match would you want to rewatch of Charlotte?
There's one.
I could think of 3 matches of Asuka that I would watch over any match that Charlotte's got.
Yeah, the Charlotte and Rhea match from not last year, obviously. Charlotte and Rhea at 39 when Rhea won. Like that was the one that did like the top 5 best women's matches I've ever seen. Like that one.
Right.
Now we want me to name you some other ones? Oh shit, I'm gonna have some trouble.
Exactly. The only thing that could probably point to is the one, I think you said it, the cage match with Sasha, and that wasn't even all that rewatchable. But you know what I could watch over and over and over again? Bayley versus Sasha in Brooklyn. I could watch Asuka versus almost anybody who was facing her in NXT. Her shit was phenomenal back then. I mean, hell, I'll even watch a Trish Stratus, Mickie James match from WrestleMania. I mean, that match was awesome too.
Or the
Charlotte. Sorry.
I think Dee had her hand up a while. So Dee, if you want to ask a question.
Oh yeah, there's been some hands up, but we've been going.
Turn your mic on,
yeah,
and
people can interject when they want to as well with us. We're very open here.
Be polite.
Yes, that's it. We're all being cool. That's our move.
Dee, go ahead.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
Great. Good to hear from you,
You
D.
guys had a good conversation. Y'all told, hey Jake, I'm here. I said, hey, I told you I was gonna show up and show out today. I was like, okay, I'm gonna show up today. So, do you think ever? Do you think guys think that Jake Uso will ever turn heel?
I
Do you
mean,
think
Yes.
that would be good?
I think
Yes.
eventually, yes, because
Mhm.
there's the money in anybody who's big for turning heel. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's also too like with Cody, where people want him to turn heel. Like it'll work eventually. It's got. What I think now
Yeah.
is that it won't ever happen just to happen. I think that's a good thing. I feel like there's now where
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah.
the writing team behind it with Triple H and everybody in there. Like they know they make things better.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just something
Yeah.
where because Vince would do that where he's like, shit, we're out of something. Or with somebody, if something doesn't
Right.
work out, just you're a comedy character now. Stay over there for the rest of your career.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know what you guys
Do
think,
you,
but that's my first thought.
do you want it do you think it would damage it or his like career? Because that was some people try to say that, oh, it's gonna damage Cody's career if he turned heel or this and
No,
that or
it wouldn't damage his career. You
Yeah,
do the same.
yeah.
You do the same type of hesitant heel of Jey Uso that you did in 2019 or 2020, as you would do now. You know what I mean? Like he'd have to be like forced in the position of heeldom, or if you want to turn, if you want to turn Jimmy a face, because I think he's actually the better worker. If you want to turn Jimmy the face and have him, who's got the chirp? Who has got the chirp?
D.
I I'm going to send. I'm going to send you some batteries, young lady. Fix that chirp. But anyway, yeah. Listen, just make sure that.
yeah, just mute yourself.
Just
You're
make
not
sure.
talking, y'all.
Yeah, just make sure Jey Uso does the hesitant heel type thing. Kind of like what Dominic Mysterio's going through right now. Like he's a heel, but he's just like, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
being used somehow. So.
Yeah, no, as long as it makes sense within the story, and it's one of the other things too, where where it's believable from the heel's end. Like even if the heel's being like Drew McIntyre is a prime example. Like you can see what he's saying. I mean, a lot of what he's saying, he comes off as an asshole for it. That's why
Right.
he's a heel. But there's a reason behind it. There's believability. He can say it with conviction. That's as opposed to just reading some random line and that someone else
Right.
wrote for you.
Right.
So if anybody's got any questions for Awful, now's a good time.
By
to
all
get 'em in.
means, yeah, speak up, y'all. We're
Oh
good.
God.
We watch. People here are very polite, and we're actually.
And I've got no
one of the better
problem.
states.
Hey, we can mute, and George and I both can mute him and boot him if we need to. So I'm everybody. We're 3 or 4 weeks into these, and everybody's been generally cool and nice and fun, and that's
Nice,
what
cool.
we stick to. Yeah, that's what we're going for. We're not trying to. You feel like most of the spaces you hear is people yelling over each other, insulting each other. It goes to immediate slurs, and you hear like the screaming where you can't even hear the person's voice because they're like eating their microphone. Like we don't want any of that shit. We're all too old for that. So we're trying to create a little bit of a different idea. That's the whole point of the channel, which I've seen a few subscriptions come into the YouTube channel today while we're watching. So thanks, y'all. By all means, please subscribe. Let me keep going.
Well, guys, I'm from Minnesota, don't you know? So we're pretty polite down here, Anyway, I just had a point on the Tiffany segment a few weeks ago. I hated it. I thought Tiffany got fucking railroaded, and I just can't fucking stand Charlotte.
The nature of the beast, my man. The nature of the beast. This is. You'd really hate the stories of the 80s.
I still think Tiffany's going to go over, which is why Charlotte's doing a lot of what she's doing. Like she knows she's putting Tiffany over.
Yep.
So as long as it ends with that, it's okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just also like, I get like Cena bullshit from Charlotte whenever she comes back. It's like, okay, you don't need to give her the title just because she comes back. Like we do need to look towards the future, guys. But in general, I would say like the overall build has been pretty lackluster in the middle of the card, maybe not exactly at the top.
Yeah, it's top
as
heavy
I
for
stated
sure.
earlier. Yeah, but then again, like there's so much flexibility in the mid card right now. It's like you could take the belt off of Braun and he'd be fine. You could take the belt off of LA Knight and he would be fine. Like the reality is, like you have a little bit more fluidity with the mid card titles, at least on the men's side. I mean, I've tried as hard as I can to remain, at least middle of the road in terms of things. Like, I'm not going too hard on things. I'm not, ranting and raving about shit on X like so many people are
Hey,
about like Cena and Cody, except for the
Just- Who
would do
Tiffany and
that?
Charlotte thing,
yeah, really.
which I have done.
Yeah, I
But-
think, and like I said, I feel like a lot of it is that they're trying to get everybody involved somehow, like, even if they're not, like even kind of the stuff they're doing with Chelsea Green and like Zelina Vega, if that ends up being the Mania match or whoever she is, like other women will be involved with that storyline because Triple H is trying to get everybody somewhat involved on the Mania build and the Mania card because it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude,
it's their big moment.
It's like he's booking WrestleMania like they do in boxing. Very top heavy. Remember, this is a Las
Yeah.
Vegas crowd, so it's going to be the
It's true.
biggest match that's going to bring them in. They know Roman, they know CM Punk, they know Cody Rhodes, they know
Yeah.
the big names.
And
They know
it's
John Cena. We forget about John Cena's in the goddamn
Pacific
main
time
event.
too, so it's
Right.
starting early there. You're right. I didn't even think.
Yeah,
The Vegas
so
crowd I thought about, but I didn't think about the timing because I mean the main event's gonna happen at what, like 8, 9 o'clock local
right,
time.
right.
That's why they're having all those after shows and shit. You're absolutely right. Like, yeah, book it the big stuff here at the end. Like,
Yeah.
we want
Because
you want
nobody-
the big crowd shots. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you obviously don't want to have empty seats in your opening matchup, but that might be a thing that could happen with the Vegas crowd. I mean, obviously, it's just like what you said, George, when they were in Europe. Now, and I give all credit to MJ from NJ on this particular point.
Always
They
great dude.
cannibalize the European market. So, are the
Yeah.
people from Europe going to come across the pond and spend that kind of money on a WrestleMania? So they're
Oh,
really,
that sounds familiar, George.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
you probably
We
said it.
talked about that in our last episode, yeah, because that was one of the things of where, is it something where like, if you had a budget to see wrestling live and you could literally cut it in half,
Right.
even more, by flights and hotels and
Yeah.
everything else. Like, yeah, I mean, like if you lived in like one of the countries they didn't go, like, let's say you live in Prague,
Right.
shit, I can go to Bologna or Barcelona, which I can get through from a train as opposed
Yeah.
to flying 16 hours to Las Vegas,
Right.
getting a hotel. And yeah, no, it makes it's perfect sense. Now, granted, with Vegas, they can easily do like a lot of corporate kind of stuff. And also with Vegas, they can easily get, at least for the bottom section, seat fillers to
Oh,
come in
yeah.
for people. But
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's it's going to be interesting how they do it. The pricing is out of control, but
And that's why I think that they went to Europe, because they knew a lot of the European fans weren't going to be coming over this year.
yeah, they did price it out with the cost. Yeah. No,
So it
that's a
was just
good
like,
point.
let's just go over there, please them, wank
And they're going back
them
in
off and then come back.
August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And they're going back for the was it Clash in Paris? That's where it is this time. And it feels like that's what
Wow.
they're doing. I mean, it's about the third or fourth one they've done of those annually. So that's definitely something that's on the card, which makes sense. I mean, it's a great way to get good shots, good views, and big crowds in those major European cities.
right.
SmackDown question quick. What do you think the favor is? Because it apparently isn't the one entirely that CM Punk
Yeah,
wanted.
that's a good question. What do you guys think? I've got a couple ideas, but
Championship run.
yeah, it's got to
If
be
ever
something
Roman,
title related, right?
if ever Roman wins the championship of either brand, I want first dibs.
Clearly, the favor is a Starbucks gift card.
The
That
only
could be
thing-
true.
Damn it, Corey.
Damn it.
And I said it on our most recent episode of AltJake
call.
Takes On, but the only thing that would make sense for Mania,
Smart.
and it doesn't make sense, but if they wanted to pull it into this, is that Heyman is in Punk's corner and not Roman's corner for their main event match. But that'd be stupid. I think it has to be title related. It has to be, especially at this
Do you
point.
guys-
Heyman is involved in some way, though.
For sure.
I
Yeah,
think
because he's given the favor.
Heyman,
Of course he is.
Heyman hammed it up so much that I have a feeling that Heyman's going to be hopping sides to join Punk.
Yeah, somebody in the IWC actually has a video close up of Paul Heyman saying the word "don't do it" when Roman Reigns during the contract signing asked CM Punk to acknowledge him, and Paul
Yes.
Heyman was right behind Roman Reigns, and he was just like, "Don't do it." And
Yeah.
that's it's that kind of geekiness that I used to like in professional wrestling.
That is so spoiling. That is so spoiling. People who want to be surprised if he turns
Right.
if he turns against Roman, we want to be shocked. I do not want anybody to think it obvious.
Well, here's the thing: the WWE has a beautiful way of making you forget about that stuff in about 3-4 weeks.
It's the little things that matter too.
Yeah.
Those little moments and little things
Yeah.
and like the stuff in the background. Chris, I see your hands up. What's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. So when I saw that, the first thing I thought of is it's like when Awful would probably look at one of his friends and go, don't say the smart-ass thing. I know you want to say that smart-ass thing. Don't do it. You're gonna get slapped. Like that's what Heyman's looking at Punk. He's like, oh, please don't poke the bear.
Gotcha. Okay.
We're almost
Interesting.
we're almost ending, and it adds to, and he says that's not the favor. So Heyman knows he's sort of trapped in it. Oh shit. Punk's it's gonna keep poking Roman Reigns, and Roman eventually is gonna turn on me.
He's the best friend that has to be best friends with both guys and doesn't want to be best friends with both guys, but has to play the role anyway.
Yeah, and both guys hate each other because they were with the same girl or something like that. Yeah, trying to play peace.
But ultimately, ultimately, I'm just not that. I'm not that interested in this year's WrestleMania, just based on how it was built. The people involved, like I love the Cena turn, but it's like, a little too soon, if you ask me. Like, I don't think we should have seen Cena, really. And it kind of plays into what you said, George. Like, you're having all these great things happen in Europe, and it's just like here in the States, I think the reaction that you really want, they kind of gave Cena the reaction that he needed, the booing him out the building. But ultimately, I don't know. I'm just not feeling this year's WrestleMania. And I swear to God, I think it's because of that three-way with Roman, Rollins, and Punk. I'm like, boy, I am not feeling that one at all. At all.
They have 2 weeks. They have 2 weeks left, or what?
I think it's 3. I think we have. I think it's
left.
3 Raws. Yeah, because what's today? The 30th, and because it's
1st, 8th, 15th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Man, it comes up quick though, dude. Like seriously,
doesn't it?
Oh, shit,
doesn't it?
Yeah. like no, they've got plenty of. Oh shit! It's like when somebody says, 10 years ago, and you're like, yeah, that was 2005. No, dude. Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, it's just,
right.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think that the Cody and Cena match will be great. I feel like the triple threat, even if you're not excited for the build, it should deliver. But yeah, no, the only thing I can really say for this WrestleMania build is it's very top heavy. They've got some, but I think you're right about why they did that with where it is and when it is. I mean, it's it'll start at 7:00 Eastern time, but shit, that's 4:00 local time. I mean, it's not even going to be like the sun going down. The sun's going to be fully out.
Right.
Awful. Of the two main events, which one's going to be the most overbooked?
Oh, Cena, Cody, easily.
Okay. Yeah, with Rock.
I mean, I'm halfway expecting an appearance from Hulk Hogan at the end of that match.
He's the third
because
man.
of all the overbooking that might be done. But I hope Cena wins. That will be my.
I can't wait for Stone Cold Steve Austin to be by.
Oh, he's definitely has to be involved somehow.
Yeah, true.
They could have the match of the year, the match at the Hall of Fame, and
right. We didn't talk about that. That's actually a good thing to bring up. Is what people thought about the that they're inducting matches into the hall, or I guess they're calling it moments because eventually they'll probably put in like the beer bath and stuff too. But I feel it's best to start it with matches.
Right.
Katie giving birth to Katie Vick giving birth to a hand to be important. Yes.
Honcho.
Finally.
We haven't had this type of match.
Hang on.
Like
you conflated two things there, George. There's Katie Vick, which is Triple H, and then giving birth to a hand is Mae Young. We have two separate horrible moments.
So you're telling me that R.D. Reynolds is going to have a WrestleCrap section of the WrestleMania Hall of Fame?
I mean,
because that's all I'm seeing.
All right, I see a hand up from Don. Is that Don? I see a hand up. What's up, Don?
Oh, there go Don. Hey.
Hello, gang. Thanks for having me on the show. Just got a couple of things here.
Always. What's up, buddy?
So, I would agree with you to a point that this WrestleMania has not been a great build-up, but I lived through WrestleMania 8 and 9, so miss me with that bullshit.
How about
the lowest of the low, so I don't want to hear that. My other point in this whole thing is maybe, and just
Don coming in hot.
Maybe this WrestleMania is so fucking top heavy that we're not appreciating what we're getting from the top to the bottom. Because there was a time I remember the Killer Bees was a mid-card match filler, and I had to deal with that bullshit as a young child and deal with what that was going on. I got some shit going on right now where I've got 2 3-ways and I'm bitching as a fan. Maybe it's not wrestling. Maybe it's the fans that are missing the mark here. And I get it. It's not for a title. It's not for anything other than a spot. But there's more behind the story. And I got to think, look, man, it's been 3 years running and the product is hot. You just got to let the shit simmer on the pot sometimes.
Love it.
And see where it goes, because I don't think CM Punk has finished playing his trump card. Excuse the pun, but I don't think we're there yet.
I like it. No,
Don,
that's,
your passion is
I
wonderful.
love it.
my
Yeah,
friend.
seriously,
Wonderful.
get me fired up. I love it. I love
To be
it.
fair,
Quick
to be
question.
fair, Don is late. We done already explored that.
Yeah.
We all, bro, we love you, Don. But yes, you're
No,
absolutely
that's okay,
correct.
Don.
But we were just opining like how we had to live through, just like you said, WrestleMania 8's build, WrestleMania 9's build. Hell, there's probably 10 other ones that we had to suffer through.
WrestleMania 2000.
But yeah,
There's a couple in there
but
too.
we're
Yeah, they're bad.
yeah. But you know one thing that we can all agree on? It's either at the show of WrestleMania or just literally maybe the day after, where it's just like that was good. It's usually if the WrestleMania card was shit, the Monday Night Raw afterwards was great. You know, so
Yep.
you take the good with the bad.
And I feel like
But shout out Don.
Yeah, and well, and if anything, the current administration and the current creative, like, I'm happy to let them cook. Like, sometimes people will I've been called a shill or whatever by the IWC because it's like, just wait. If it ends up being shitty, fine. Then let's make fun of it. Then we can joke about it. But when people are bitching about what they think's gonna happen, like I remember with back to Punk and Rollins, where everybody thought it was gonna be Rollins that joined the War Games team. Like, what a stupid angle. That's so dumb. It didn't make any sense. Blah blah blah. And then Punk comes out, and it's this awesome moment that breaks the internet. And it's like, just shut up and let him cook for a minute.
Shout out Julian Weeks. Every goddamn other tweet, he's just like, you motherfuckers, just be patient.
Yeah, right.
Let things simmer, cook.
He and I live in the same state. I feel like I'm gonna run into him at a show one of the times. If I do, I'm gonna get a selfie.
You already have. He was on. I think he was on the Revolution stream.
Oh no, I mean, I don't know, like physically at a real show.
Oh yeah.
No, because we're in this. He lives in North
Oh
Phoenix.
yeah, shit! I forgot.
Yeah.
Right.
But he usually
Whoever
goes
had
to
their-
shows because we have 2 arenas here, and there's one out in Glendale and one down here in Phoenix. He usually goes to shows in Glendale, and that's a little far for me. So I try to go to the ones in Phoenix because I don't have to drive. I can take the light rail, so I can enjoy the shows more.
Right, there's three of y'all with your hands up. Pick one and go.
Well, I think we already. If Don wants to go again, he can rent again for sure.
I'm scared of Don.
I saw Chris come up, and then what's up, everybody?
All right, so let me
What up, bro?
In fairness to Don and everybody here, was last year's WrestleMania that great in terms of the mid card? It was what, Pride versus Foul Testament. Nobody cared. LA Knight, AJ Styles, that played out. You had the 6-pack tag team ladder match, which was played out. Rey Mysterio. That was a top heavy card. It was The Rock, Roman versus Cody Rollins. It was Cody versus Roman finishing the storyline, and to a smaller extent, it was Bayley versus Gil. But even that felt sort of, we got spoiled last year. We got spoiled. We got Rock coming back thanks to WB firing him. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, The Rock is back. Yay! And now it's like,
that's
okay,
a good point.
We went from Pacquiao Mayweather to you're getting Pacquiao versus, let's say Jordanis Ugas. Like, okay, yeah, it's good. It's not great, but it's good.
Nobody
But
here
last year we had better. Last year we just had the steak and the potatoes and the fries and the milkshake and everything, and now we get just a burger and fries.
I like a burger and fries.
Yeah, but when you get steak and a shake and everything.
I get you. No, I get what you're saying. That is a very valid point because when you think of last year's WrestleMania, it's the 2 main events, and then obviously, the big replay moment is the last 10 minutes of Cody beating Roman. So it's a good point.
And that's
Also,
a very.
when you're gonna start.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm sorry, George.
It's okay. You know when you're gonna start liking WrestleMania? The day before Friday.
Yeah, it usually happens that way, doesn't it? It usually happens that way.
Hey, if you get a good video package, you can sell a lot of folks. I mean, we're still watching the video package from WrestleMania 17. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. But as far as that WrestleMania moment being enshrined in the Hall of Fame, the Stone Cold versus Bret Hart match, what other matches do you guys see? Because I'm like 3 right off the top of my head. Like,
Hogan
that
Rock.
should be Hogan Rock. Okay, good. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. I mean, the Hogan Rock.
Did I just say to you guys, are you guys forgetting about Naomi and Jade, which is probably the best undercard feud going in wrestling right now?
Where'd that go? We were just talking about the Hall of Fame. What happened?
I'll answer that real quick. It's one of the Jade versus Naomi is one of those matches that you're excited to see the second it happens. You know what I mean? But anytime before that, it's just like,
No, it's not. It's a feud.
The vignette that Naomi cut on Friday was great. That was a really good. That backstage.
Did you not see her and Bianca 2 weeks ago? That was probably one.
Yeah.
That was one of the best women's segments I've ever seen personally. And I wanted to say about one of the guys. Can I talk, please? One of the guys said talking about Bayley and Io. Bayley and Io last year was a match of the year contender for women's wrestling. So I just wanted to point that out. And with EO being added to the women's match this year, it's going to be a lot better than just having Bianca and Rhea. At least that's how I see it. Because EO is the best women's wrestler on the planet right now.
Oh wow,
would
we've
you
got a
rather-
stand. We've got a stand.
rather-
Okay.
I'm not
Would you rather-
Stan. I'm a 40-year-old guy who likes wrestling.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
not
going to ask
Stan.
you a question, if you don't mind. Would you want it to be a
And you're
three? Would you want it
What's
to be
that?
a three-way? Do you want it to be a three-way the way it is, or would you rather have individual?
Yes, because you have a 2-night SummerSlam where you can have Bianca and build Bianca and Rhea for the summer, and you've already started that with the feud of letting cook Bianca's heel turn, right?
Yeah, that's
Because
not my question though. My question is, would you rather have EO and Bianca, EO and Rhea, or do you like the three-way? Is what I was asking. I'm sorry.
I like the 3-way
Okay.
right away.
Well, and it's a point too. 'cause
Wrestling
they're
match you're
gonna
talking
do,
about, right? Or
Look at the story they're telling right now. You're using it like EO's.
I think
Anyway.
they're gonna have they're gonna do the second Women's Evolution pay-per-view or PLE come this.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
According
July
to
5th.
According to the
at the-
Mohegan Sun, they put it out that that's what the show is, but we'll see. But
Oh, that's
I mean,
yeah.
there's plenty of PLEs, and like you said, they're going to be doing SummerSlam as 2 nights. There's probably going to be more of that kind of stuff. Never mind, there's Saturday night's main events to have those singles matches. So it does make sense. But I think at some point there's going to be a big money singles match of Rhea and Bianca. Thank you, though. Good stuff. We appreciate all opinions.
No,
we're good.
And the one thing I want to ask you guys, like, I find with this year's card, I find like guys like Solo Sikoa were pushed down our throats the last like 2 years. Like, I just don't care about what he's going to do at Mania. I don't want him on Mania card.
Yeah, because
I'd rather
Jacob
have like a
Fatu's
Braun
there.
Strowman Jacob Fatu match.
Exactly. I'm with you 100%.
So that's just me. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
No, you're
Thank
good.
you.
We love it.
And I'm liking the bill
Pleasure agrees with
personally,
you
but
and
that's
he's
just me.
fellow, so you can't do much better than that. We love it. Thank you.
Do you guys think that Ross could be on Raw tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Probably.
Yeah, because WrestleBoats put out right before the European tour, the WrestleBoats put out a tweet that says they expect The Rock to be on at least one of the shows with Cena, and tomorrow's the last one. And I'm just curious, like, they got to do something because they haven't done anything yet. Like, it's been regurgitation the last 2 weeks, so.
Yeah, they haven't mentioned this at all on purpose, so you might be
Yeah,
right.
No,
that might
it's
be why they
frustrating.
haven't mentioned it.
See you
I like
tomorrow.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have a good night.
You too, my friend.
Hey,
Thanks.
real quick, I just wanted to add to Don's point for
Please.
WrestleMania build. I got to see Booker T and Edge feud over a Pantene commercial one time going into WrestleMania. So I'm fine with the build. Like I've seen, man, I sit through WrestleMania 7.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Where it was moved for safety reasons. Yeah.
Safety reasons.
Safety
yeah,
reasons. Yeah. That's safety reasons because they didn't want a completely open half stadium.
Yeah, but yeah, anytime you see people start feuding over a shampoo commercial, that's takes a cake.
Yeah.
Since
no,
on
that's a good
since
point.
on our spaces we don't get that many celebrities or celebrity appearances. If you have any questions for Awful, that would be nice.
Oh, man, I am not a celebrity.
You are
in our little world here. In our little world here, yes, you are. Sir.
Yeah. You figured it out.
I guess I appreciate that.
You love it.
But I do have a
Okay.
I do have a controversial pick for the matches
Oh,
for
please.
the Hall of Fame match. I love the Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man match at WrestleMania 7. I could watch that day or night on an empty stomach or on a full stomach. It's a great match, and I think everybody should watch it. Phenomenal from top to bottom.
That is a good one. I don't know if it's so much controversial, but it's one of those things where you don't think about it, then you hear it and you're like, oh yeah. It's kind of like when somebody made Hall of Fame, like not in the first few ballots, but like towards the end because they built up enough goodwill. People are like, oh shit, he was really good, wasn't he? No, that's a good one. I like that.
You got to put in like Rock and Andre, right?
You mean Hogan and Andre?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What did I say?
you're good. That's what we're here.
Rock and Andre.
Oh my God.
No,
that would have been a good match.
When Andre changed the Rock's diaper.
Hey, Dewey. No, that was the first match that I thought of when Awful asked the question earlier. But then you said Rock and Hogan, which really is probably the best overall WrestleMania match. Like another one probably would be like the two matches together of Taker and Shawn at WrestleMania 25 and 26, which in our world, that's Shawn Michaels' last match. I don't pretend that Saudi wasn't canon yet when they went over there and he was bald and shit got weird. Because I mean, that match, I was at the second one. That's the only WrestleMania I've been to is 26, and that was the match that closed that show, and it was awesome. So those would be like the few that I would put in. Yeah, that'll be the best match I ever see live. And like you knew it then. We were walking out of the stadium like, yeah, I'm never seeing a better match live. Like that was just awesome.
I'll hit you with one. What about AEW matches Hall of Fame?
Ooh,
Premium.
I'll tell you
That's a
one.
good question. Yeah.
Cody versus Dustin was a phenomenal match. Damn, there was one. And you're gonna hate me, but I was thoroughly entertained when it was Willow Nightingale versus, I believe, Chris Statlander. And the match only took place maybe like 3 or 4 months. It was just a fucking melee brawl where they just used everything in their disposal, and it was a logical garbage match, if that makes any sense. But
you're pulling out things you would actually use and not
right.
British toothbrushes, as you said.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That would pop me. That's a good one.
But other than that,
matches I always liked was it when Darby and MJF like let off a pay-per-view and MJF said he was going to beat him with the headlock takeover, and they made that work and it was logical, and MJF still got over as a heel. Like that was a really good match. One of the few matches that I can remember where I was like, shit, that was actually really good.
I hate to jump in here, but I hate this. I hate having matches in the Hall of Fame. It was done in the UFC because they wanted to put Stephen Bonner in the Hall of Fame because, Bonner was an all-time favorite of Dana White, and his record wasn't that good. You don't need that in pro wrestling because you can have great matches that nobody sees on a house show or on a Raw, and we forget because it's like, we've had so many episodes of Raw.
I think that's what they're trying to go with, like the iconic moments. Like, yes, it's the Austin and Bret Hart match, but really, what's going into the Hall of Fame is Austin with the blood in his tooth, and then not.
I guess it's
really, but I understand what you're saying completely.
Put this match in while they're both alive, right?
It also is a good way of like we can guarantee Stone Cold's in Vegas, for what Dee was saying earlier, that he could come out either with Cody or something with it. Because, I mean, even if Cody loses, but the show ends with, Austin stunning Rock, you're sending the crowd home happy. Like, you're not going to not be happy if you see that happen in person. Like, let's be real. Nobody took a stunner better than Rock. I don't know if it can still flip over like he used to with his giant shoulders now. But, hey, we're willing to give it a shot. I see a hand up from Daniel Nutt Kreger, who's one of our #1 commenters on our on the YouTube page. So thanks, buddy. Wait, do you have something you want to say to us, my friend? You're on mute if you don't know. I get to see your hand up. If not, no big deal.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, buddy? Glad to have you here.
Happening.
Yes, I finally figured out how to operate this damn thing.
Just, this is the easier way to be interactive than through trying to chat on YouTube. So it's kind of why we.
Yeah, irony. I work in IT. Can't operate this. But yeah, I got a question. Damn. For Awful, is there anybody left that you think can move the needle for AEW? Because I don't see it.
Yes,
I don't see it. Like,
here's what you do, and I'm not joking when I say this. It's going to sound comical, but I fucking mean it. You have Jon Moxley come out there on Wednesday, okay? You have him cut his modeling promo, and then you have Shelton fucking Benjamin come out there and challenge that man for the belt at the 10 o'clock hour. Okay, this all happens from 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, Moxley fucking tries to find a way to screw Shelton out of the match before the match happens. 9:45 happens. Now you've got Shelton versus Moxley championship. Somehow Tony Khan signed the contract or whatever, and Shelton Benjamin beats the fuck out of Jon Moxley for about 8-9 minutes, pins him, and wins the championship. You need something. You know what AEW needs? They need their Brock Lesnar Kofi Kingston moment. They need something that's going to literally just shake up everything and damn near start the whole process all over again. And when you have somebody like, now listen, you could kind of interchange Shelton Benjamin with anybody you mentioned.
But same idea, 100%.
Excellent. Just same rules apply.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So make that happen. So that way you get something that goes online and the people, the IWCNN goes, wow, look at this. And then they gif it up and they put it on their little clips or whatever. And by next week, you might have made enough waves so that more people will come in and watch the program. But whatever you do, you got to start it at 8 and end it at 10.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And as far as like people from outside the company that would make sense, I think the only one, it's not about who he brings in and like can move the needle, because there's never any fucking follow-up. That's the problem.
No, there will be none. Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. This would be the best way to do it because that would be doing something and setting it up for follow-up of either Samoa Joe or Shelton Benjamin standing there with the belt like, come get it. We're going to actually wrestle for this fucking thing as opposed to...
Yeah, have them take the briefcase, pry it open with a crowbar, hold that thing up nice and shiny, and now you have a new champion.
Seriously.
Something you've got to go off the air with so that people all the way up to the 10 o'clock hour and possibly even more are still watching. Like, I don't care who's on the program, you bed that entire show with Shelton Benjamin's going up against Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley is going to do everything he can in the next 2 hours to prevent that match from happening.
Nope.
That's how you book that show.
I'm with you 100%.
They've never had
Or Bobby Lashley or Darby. Like I said, you name them. But by the end of the new champion, done.
Yeah, just
They've
somebody.
never had a constant thread go out a whole show ever. I don't think, though, have they?
No.
I'm
I mean,
I'm asking.
Small, but no, nothing. I mean, not that I can think of. That's the whole problem with the show is they were, especially when they started booking mostly just week to week. Even though Tony said, "Now we're just booking week to week."
I have somebody who can save AEW.
Okay,
Awful's gonna like this.
Well, if you say Monet versus Sammy Guevara, I'm going to kick you out.
No, you guys, no. We do this whole thing, and at the end of the night, he's raising his title. Awful comes out and he says, "Hey, I want to introduce the toughest challenger." No, just listen. The toughest challenger ever to Jon Moxley, a man who is a legitimate badass and could beat everybody up. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of AEW, Jake Paul.
That's not what I was expecting.
Hey, Jake, you don't have a car crash sound, do you?
No, I don't have a soundboard for this one. No.
We don't do sound.
No,
We're not that technical.
You get a social media guy. You get somebody who's cool. You get somebody who you know is going to sell crap to anybody, can make it stick. I mean, he sold us on Mike Tyson.
Tony Khan had a shit the day they had to air that commercial with Jake and Logan Paul on their television. I'm almost certain of it. So watching any of the Paul brothers come into AEW and do anything is not going to work. Listen, you can bring in anybody into AEW. How it's going to be promoted. And since you're going to rely on people online to promote your shit, this is how you do it. This is how you do it.
Yeah, you
got to shock the world.
You got to build from within the company.
That's how you shock the world. You bring in Jake Paul. You bring somebody that's not the usual AEW. Oh, yes, we're wrestling.
They brought in Snoop Dogg. They brought in Shaquille O'Neal. They brought in Mike Tyson. Didn't make a damn. So much so, my friend, that they tried to put it on in their intro for their Dynamite show. And then when people like me and other people saw that it was bullshit, they never went to that goddamn intro ever again. That's crazy. They never. I'm so excited. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I'm sorry, but they're not going to do all that.
You wish they would do that.
He's really hanging his hat on this one.
He's got a
nothing else they have.
In that
You
thing, but
Right, everyone's talking at once.
That's true.
But it's just, it wouldn't, I mean, there's no, him specific, Paul specific, but he could bring in Conor McGregor and like have him be trained to wrestle and it would still fail miserably.
Oh my God, that's off the budget for.
I'm just saying it doesn't matter who he brings in.
I'm sorry, but he's with Don.
But yeah,
Dana White.
Gentlemen, I see that it's 9:30, almost 9:30, and I got to get out of here. But
okay, Awful. Where can people find you every week?
Oh man, they can find me here on X at AEWFUL Wrestling. I will have two brand new videos this week, including the ratings video, and you can also catch me every Tuesday on Tooney Talk Wrestling at youtube.com/@Toon Wrestling with my great guest, my great co-host. Yeah, they're gonna hate me on that one, kick my ass. But and also. Yeah, really. He's been watching me. He's a Fed. Don't let him scare you. Shout out Neck Beers. But also, I want everybody to like and subscribe to AltJake's new YouTube channel.
Thank you, sir.
Come on, let's get him to 30. Let's get him to 30 subscribers, folks.
Oh, no,
let's do it. No, I'm
we're
joking.
over
I'm
100,
joking.
hey,
I'm joking.
130 would be great. We're doing good. I love it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for your time, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Yes, no problem. You guys have a great night. Peace.
My friend.
Awesome.
Hey, Uncle.
I'll think about it.
Before you go,
peace.
Can we get?
Can
we get the Tooney t-shirts?
He's gone already.
Oh, he already gone.
They do need merch though.
That's
No,
so
right.
good to have.
They I feel like probably not beat up tees, but because I don't know.
No, Tooney Town's got their stuff up on.
Oh, do they? Nice.
Go to their YouTube page. You'll find a tee.
Yeah, the YouTube has the section for it where you can do merch from there.
I already know where it is. I saw it.
Nice. I see Don's hand went back up. Are we ready in for another Don run in? I like that. That was good. That guy gave me some energy, man. I loved it.
Well, thank you again. Just a couple things because I also have to
Absolutely.
get out of here real quick before
No.
the workday calls. But a couple things: any Macho Man or Bret Hart match in WrestleMania should automatically be goated in WrestleMania matches. It's not up for debate. It's not up for a political poll. They always put on a great match, and I don't want to miss you with that bullshit. Like I said earlier, they never underperformed in any match ever. Also,
Agree.
the Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley shit. Here it is. They're giving EO a moment in the sun. No one cares outside of EO Sky fans. I do not give a shit one way or the other if she is part of this match. The only thing I want to see is two big broads go at it. And if you tell me otherwise, quit being a stand. There's two female stars in this company, and Charlotte's trying to creep back in the picture, and I don't want to hear it.
Well, we know how you feel. That's for sure.
I've said for the longest time the biggest money women's match in that company is is Rhea versus Bianca. I mean, I understand why they're putting EO in the match and it will be good, but yeah, I think that's why they either Women's Evolution 2 main event or the women's main event of SummerSlam will be.
Well, I'm glad
Rhea
you
and
understand
Bianca.
it. If you could explain it to me later, I'd appreciate it because it looks like a 4-year-old toddler walked into the goddamn ring with two grown women, and it makes no sense to me.
Fair
People
enough.
like her.
I like
like
that.
her.
Yeah, no. Well, that George, we can write that down. We can try to have that as a topic for another show because we want to keep producing content for everybody. So, but
Yeah, why the young girl wrestler is popular? That may not be a good one.
yeah, by the one who's short and fit. Yeah, and I mean she does.
Don, thank you for joining us.
She
tonight.
is
Appreciate
entertaining for what she does for moves, but I fully. Yeah, the big money matches, Rhea and Bianca. It looks like there's one more hand up. I feel like we probably have time for one, maybe two more things. We try to make these things an hour and a half, and we've already got 90 minutes. And I'm going to a concert in about 2 hours. So, but yeah, who else's hand is up? It looks like, yeah.
Oh, well, and I was just going to say one of the reasons I think EO's in it, I think EO's is like Triple H's favorite wrestler of all time or something.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a connection, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and she is kind of willing to do anything with it. And there's part of those people. I mean, there's always that talk of Dusty's kids that people always talk about.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's definitely this section of people that were with Triple H through the NXT days when it was the black and gold that are.
That's his Gargano right there.
Yeah,
So
no, that's right.
And plus she can bump around too. So
that's why I think she's in there is that she can crazy bumps, and it will be a great match. Like the three of them are talented, they've worked together enough. Like it'll be a great match, but. I still am surprised it's not going to main event night one, but here we are.
I think to your point, they were just trying to get people as many people in matches as they can. That's why you have all these multi-man matches.
Agreed. Yeah, that's where the Andre the Giant Battle Royal could really kind of clean some of this up. But you can only have so many matches. You can't have they're not trying to be AEW and have 14 matches on each night. Thanks, but no thanks.
All right, Daniel, you're going to close things out for us tonight.
Yep.
All right. Number one, what concert?
It's a band called Refused. People might know them. If you look up their song called New Noise, you probably heard it. They were a band that was getting somewhat popular in the late 90s, playing like hardcore music, and then they broke up, and they're from Sweden, so they rarely ever tour the States. I've only ever seen them at a music festival.
Didn't Refuse do the song from Cyberpunk?
Probably. That sounds accurate.
No,
yeah.
Chipping In. I think they did Chipping In.
That sounds accurate. Yeah, I'm more of a fan of their stuff from like 99 and 2000, but yeah, the concert's like 20 minutes away from me. And literally the tour is called because they broke up and they released a DVD called Refused or Fucking Dead. That's the name of this tour because they're all in their 50s now. They're like, we can't be playing hardcore music anymore. So, but yeah, I'm going to that tonight and I'm very, very excited. 19-year-old Jake is pumped right now. 42-year-old Jake, my back's going to hurt tomorrow. But it's fine. It's fine.
So we're going to end this on a musical note.
They said that was question one. I think he has two. If you have a second one, by all means, we can talk more about it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of takes online that were upset about the fact that the Roman Punk Seth match was the words I heard was no stakes, no meaning nothing main event, which I think is crap because I mean the main event matters because Punk has talked about it for 2 years since the day he come back.
Well, even like the match that I talked about with Shawn Michaels and Taker at WrestleMania 26. I mean, yes, Shawn was going to retire if he didn't win, but that match went on last, and I think they learned their lesson from WrestleMania 18 because everybody remembers Rock versus Hogan. But what happened? They had to have Triple H versus Jericho after that, and it was a great match, but nobody remembers it. So it's one of those things.
It's a great trivia question.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I saw the rematch on a house show of Triple H and Jericho that when they toured right after Mania that year.
Yes. House shows are very underrated, and it kind of sucks they don't do as many as they used to. Because the two most I've been to a lot of shows. I've been to a SummerSlam, a Royal Rumble, a Mania. Two of the most fun shows I ever had were the two house shows I went to. So, but yeah, that was awesome, guys. Thanks. That's easily the way more than we've ever had for a Spaces. That was an awesome turnout. Thanks, everybody. We do this every Sunday at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Please go and follow our YouTube page, youtube.com/@AltJakeTakesOn, or just go to my profile, click on there. I've got links to videos, links to the page. We are trying to gain followers, which from the notifications I got, we gained a few during this, which is the entire point. So, but yeah, thanks everybody. This was awesome. Hope you have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.